Hi and welcome to Jothishi.com. So today we are going to continue with the planet and houses series where we are going to discuss how the Venus impacts in different houses. So we will start with the Venus in different houses today.
Yes.
Where we will see take celebrity examples and see how Venus plays out in different houses.
Yes. So Venus is basically the planet of love. It's a planet of affection. It's a planet of diplomacy. It's a planet of feeling good, making others feel good, and those kind of things. So basically, we will today take about a few love, pairs from the Indian cinema industry, and then we'll highlight the various houses in this particular Venus. So the highest number of movies that a couple has acted in Indian movies is Dharmendra and Hema Malini. So Dharmendra has Venus in the 12th house. A beautiful example wherein if you've seen Dharmendra, he is bindas. His lifestyle is sort of bindas kind of a lifestyle. 12th house of pleasures. He all the comic scenes that talk about Dharmendra talks about post 7 o'clock. Dharmendra is with a glass kind of a thing. So that kind of a flavor is fantastic. Dharmendra pleasures is that kind of a flavor is beautifully explained with Venus in the 12th house with Dharmendra, and Hema Malini has Venus in the second house, that sweet voice and that ability to communicate. Second house of power. She's also a member of parliament and those kind of things. So this couple, clearly the second house and the 12th house flavor beautifully sort of exhibited here.
Okay.
And Dharmendra also has a very fantastic chart, 9th house, 9th lord in the 9th house, 10th lord in the 10th house, kind of very strong sort of a chart. The second example that we can talk of is Shah Rukh Khan and Kajol, right? So Shah Rukh Khan and Kajol, now if you merge those charts, if you merge both Shah Rukh Khan's and Kajol's chart, both the Venus and Shah Rukh Khan's Venus and Kajol's Venus are in 1-5. So it's a fantastic, sort of exhibition wherein their chemistry through Venus, that is love, and Venus is also a planet of acting, right? So the love explained through acting is fantastic because it's 1 and 5. There are many more examples with 1 and 5. So 1 and 3. Venus A to Venus B, male to female, if it is 1 to 3, 1 to 5, 1 to 7, it's a fantastic kind of sort of a relationship. So Shah Rukh Khan and Kajol both have Venus in their 5th house, the house of passion, and their Venus, when you combine those two charts, their Venus are in the 1 and the 5th house. So from that perspective, this 5th house flavor is fantastic in this particular kind of a thing.
Example.
Another beautiful example which explains this combination of 5th house flavor, the male to female 5th house Venus flavor is Anil Kapoor and Madhuri Dixit. So it's a fantastic, again, that chemistry is clearly, you can see that chemistry when they act in movies. And Anil Kapoor has Venus in its own house in the 9th house, and Mars in the 10th house kind of a thing. And Madhuri Dixit is Venus in Gemini, the planet of the sign of acting and all that, and fantastic Gajagesri Yoga in the 11th house. So that Venus flavor of 9th house and 10th house is fantastic from a Madhuri Dixit and Anil Kapoor kind of a combination. So 10th house of that cinema acting and all that, Anil Kapoor is still an everlasting actor. Madhuri Dixit is still an everlasting actresses from that kind of a perspective. And that flavor, again, 1-5 relationship, when you merge the charts, both of them 1-5, that planet beautifully explains that, sort of a chemistry in terms of an acting.
Right. So 5th house of passion, 5th house of love, all of that also shows up.
Yes. So it is 1-5 relationship between them.
Right.
So from a acting perspective, from a film perspective, and from a chemistry perspective, it is going to be great, when they sort of mingle out. So generally, even if you match charts, it has anything to do with the boy's Venus to the girl's Venus 1-3. That is from boy's Venus 3 distances away, the girl's Venus, and 7 distances or 5 distances is fantastic.
Right.
Or if you have the Venus and the Mars opposite each other, that is also a fantastic combination from a physical intimacy kind of sexual kind of a perspective. So again, another beautiful example is where this chemistry blossoms is Amitabh Bachchan and Rekha. So Rekha has Venus in the 12th house. 12th house of pleasures, and 12th house of again cinema. 12th house again represents creativity, right, cinema and all that. And Amitabh Bachchan has Venus in the 8th house. 8th house of place where you act and all that. Okay. And 8th house of secrecy. So there were stories regarding secrecy, right, and all that, and then 8th house of sudden movement. So his entry into movies is also basically sudden kind of a thing. That flavor, 8th house and 12th house favor, and again Venus to Venus of Amitabh Bachchan and Rekha is 1:3 again. So again this combination is reasonably very strong, and that clearly explains the chemistry that sort of comes out
because of the Venus.
Yes, position. Yes. So that kind of a flavor is reasonably very strong. Okay. And next example that we can talk about is Raj Kapoor and Nargis. So they've acted in multiple movies, and that Pyar Hua, Ikrar Hua, that kind of a flavor is reasonably very well sort of explained. And Raj Kapoor had Venus in its 4th house of tradition. So he comes from a tradition of cinema, right, 4th house of
the
Venus,
Kapoor
family, and then generations of right, even now the generations continue. Correct. That clearly explains this 4th house kind of a thing. And luxury lifestyle and luxury vehicles and those kind of things, that clearly explained. Nargis sort of 6th house Venus. So there were multiple issues, health issues for Nargis, and right, and there were fires in the set multiple times, and those kind. So that sort of reasonably explains in Nargis's 6th house flavor kind of a thing.
For Venus.
Yes, and again this Venus to Venus of Raj Kapoor and Nargis is again 1:3, and then that's beautiful sort of a combination.
Okay.
Next example that we can talk about is Kamal Haasan and Sridevi. So Kamal Haasan and Sridevi in Tamil cinema, they were one of the best bonds that probably happened in Tamil cinema kind of a thing, and both of them have Venus in the 1st house, and their 1st house generally talks about good looks, behavior, professional in the business that you are in, and those kind of stuffs, and clearly explains both Kamal Haasan's and Sridevi's that kind of a flavor, and Kamal Haasan's also multiple partners, that kind of a thing. Venus in the 1st house, so that clearly Venus in the 1st and the 7th house sort of highlights that multiple partner kind of a thing, kind of a thing. So this 1st house flavor is reasonably strong. So I think probably we are left with only Venus in the 7th house now. Right. I think more or less we have covered the other houses. So Venus in the 7th house. 7th house, we have a great example called Charlie Chaplin. So Charlie Chaplin, 7th house of multiple partners. I mean, he has the official list has about 4-5 wives, and 7th house of public domain, and 7th house of Venus, making others laugh. Right. 7th house of public domain, and you are happy with what others think about generally cinema and those kind of things. That kind of a flavor is reasonably very strong from a Charlie Chaplin kind of.
So let's take a few more examples.
Yes.
And let's go a little deeper into the topic.
Yes. So again, another beautiful pair that we can talk about is Aamir Khan and Juhi Chawla. The very first movie was a super hit, QSQT, and again Aamir Khan, Venus in the 1st house, and Juhi Chawla in the 3rd house. So if you see Juhi Chawla's communication, the way she talks is a typical example of Venus in the 3rd house, where it's sort of sweet and fast kind of a talk kind of a thing. So again, this chemistry, if you merge both their charts, Venus is a 1-5 relationship. So that chemistry is clearly got in this movies kind of a thing. That's a fantastic flavor that comes out. Another beautiful example that we can talk about is Jayalalitha and MGR. So they have acted in multiple movies together, and then right from movies to their political journey, they've been sort of together. And this again, this Venus axis, Jayalalitha has fantastic. She has 2 Panchamahapurusha yogas. One is Malavi yoga and one is Amsa yoga. So and MGR has again 1/3 axis kind of a thing when you merge the chart. So it's a 10th and the 11th house kind of a flavor. And MGR, we all know 11th house of networking, bringing out political parties together, and building an empire kind of a thing. The entire political party was built by this particular diplomacy kind of flavor kind of a thing. And finally, this combination of Kate Winslet and Leonardo. So this is also the first house, second house kind of a Venus. And again, they have, when you merge their charts, it's a beautiful one-third relationship. The very first movie, it's sort of a worldwide super hit kind of a thing, Titanic. And Leonardo brings that flavor of handsomeness with Venus in the first house, and then Kate Winslet, that cuteness kind of a thing from the second house kind of a flavor. So with these examples, sort of we have tried to explain what Venus represents in various houses.
So today's was mostly around actors and actresses, where we took up some examples and saw how Venus, the planet of love, plays out when you overlap the charts. This is also one important factor when you can match your chart for horoscope matching or any of those things. So if you would like to get your horoscope matched, do log on to Jothishi.com and we can help. Thanks.